Good evening. Calling to order the September 10th meeting of the Wiscasset Historic Preservation Commission. The purpose of the ordinance that we are dealing with is to provide a framework within which the residents of the town of Wiscasset can protect the historic, architectural, and cultural heritage of significant areas, buildings, structures, landmarks, and sites in the town, while accepting compatible new construction. The heritage and economic well-being of the town will be strengthened by preserving its architectural and historic setting, conserving property values in unique areas, fostering civic beauty, and promoting the use of historic or architecturally significant buildings for the education and welfare of the citizens of the town of Wiscasset. The intent of this ordinance is to assist property owners in maintaining the architectural integrity of historic resources within the town. Once destroyed, these historic resources cannot be replaced. That having been said, may I introduce to you the members of the commission: Pam Logan, our secretary; Leslie Roberts, vice chairman; Susan Blackton, chairman. First order of the day is to approve the minutes, so nicely taken for us by Jackie, of August 22nd. Are there corrections?
The only thing I had was on page 3, second paragraph, a concerned voter. I don't know if it was a concerned voter. I think it was just an audience member.
Where were
Page 3,
Right.
second paragraph.
okay.
I didn't get his name, so
It's just like a audience member.
Okay.
Oh,
Are you suggesting this?
that's the only thing I saw.
Okay. I have approval of that change.
what is the change to the minutes? What do
A
you-
concerned abutter is being changed to an audience member.
Are we referring to me?
I don't think it was
No.
you that made that comment.
I did make that comment,
Okay?
so it isn't a butter.
And we'll add Steve Barnett.
What is this name?
Stephen Barnett.
Do you need to spell it, Jackie?
No.
Barnat. Thank you, May I have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I move we accept the minutes as corrected. The minutes of August 22nd as corrected.
Do you have a second? Thank you. At every meeting, we have a time for public comment on non-agenda items. Wiscasset citizens attending the Historic Preservation Commission meeting are encouraged to discuss any non-agenda item. Please limit your time to 5 minutes. Are there any? Yes, Steve.
Good evening. My non-agenda item pertains to a non-agenda. I thought the agendas were supposed to be up like 5 days before a meeting. I didn't see any posted on the agenda until today.
It was out. We had to reschedule the meeting, so this agenda.
What was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only one we can hear is Susan.
How's that? How's that?
You're always saying that.
You don't want people.
Okay, Steve?
Yeah, sorry if I was wrong on that. I just thought that, you're going from the last meeting.
We had to
Okay,
reschedule this meeting, but the agenda had gone out before that.
it had gone out. Okay. My second question is, At the last meeting, Pam was speaking about some guidelines from the Department of the Interior. Now, I was kind of, and I'm not, this is not for an argument, I was kind of confused on where she was headed with that, because who was under the Department of the Interior guidelines here? You know, you know,
Ordinance.
where does it, I've got the ordinance here, I've got the comprehensive plan, I see nothing about that. And besides, you know, the building that we're talking about, the Masonic Lodge, is not even a building on the register of historic buildings.
All the buildings in the historic district are.
So you're making an umbrella statement for everything, and am I correct in saying that it's an umbrella statement, that everything in Wiscasset falls in that because the town is under?
There's an historic
There's
district
an
that's
historic
outlined.
district, which is included in our historic district. The national, buildings in the National Historic District are, by virtue of being in that district, are part of the National Register. Every building in that district, if they wanted to, could put a sign out saying member of the Federal National Register.
Really? And I'm not, you know, again, picking an argument. I've looked at the comprehensive plan. I've got it in front of me. And it talks about, you know, the houses, public and private homes that are in the National Register. And in order to get into the National Register, you have to apply your house as per this piece of, this way I read it, and I could.
According to the ordinance of the Historic Preservation, the historic district is a geographical definable area possessing a significant concentration, linkage, or continuity of sites, buildings, structures, and/or landmarks united by events or aesthetically by plan or physical development and designated in accordance with the requirements of this ordinance as appropriate for historic preservation. Such historic districts may also comprise an individual historic landmark or historic site separated geographically but linked by association of history.
It's not a national register down here.
So I'm now just trying to clear this. Are we saying that everything that's in that district is in the register? I mean, it's not in the register. It's not physically in the register, right?
The historic significance, I mean, I could read the whole ordinance.
No, that's okay. I'm just
I mean,
trying to clear
it starts out as the Historic Preservation Ordinance, number 10, 10.1, and forward. All is defined in the beginning of that, including, you know, contributing structures and historic landmarks, resources, material change, alterations, neighborhood significance. This is all listed in our ordinance.
I guess I won't pursue this any further because I'm kind of confused, concerned, whatever on all of this, you know.
There's a map that outlines.
Oh, I
the historic
understand,
district.
Pam. I've seen the map.
Okay.
I've read this stuff, and I'm just trying to figure out, you know, seeing how we've made this appears. We've made this statement that everything that's in the district is into the National Register, which is not a true statement. As far as the way I read applying, if you want to put your home already is, but if somebody else wants to put their home in there, they have to go through a process in order to get into the register.
No, my house on High Street is not individually listed. I have not applied, although I could, for individual National Historic recognition. By virtue of being in the National Register District, my house is on the National Register. Steve, don't ask me, it's arcane, but I went around and around with the state on this.
I'm just,
But
because and I'm going to do this real quick, so these people got some stuff to do. It says, private properties listed in National Register of Historic Places, out of the comprehensive plan. The following properties are listed in the National Register of Historic Places, and your house is listed.
It's one of the contributing houses in the historic district.
But
A
you never
non-
extended
a
it.
non-contributing house or non-contributing structure, which is within the historic district, is the gas station across the street. Everything else, not everything else, but almost everything else, is a contributing structure. By virtue of age, something important happened there,
Historic
some,
landmark, historic resource, within the historic overlay map.
yeah.
It's in that zone.
Well, I agree, it's just something, it's just hard to piece it together. Anyway, I just want to,
You think it's hard, try being us.
Yeah.
I thank you for your time, and I know these people want to move on.
Just
Thank you.
a quick answer to your question about the reference to the U.S. Department of Interior standards.
Yes.
That is section 10.7.1, Steve.
All right,
Standards of evaluation.
all righty, thank you all.
You're welcome.
I'll look
Thank you
through
for
that.
asking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I need a motion to revisit the Lincoln Lodge application, part of which we did last month.
Make a motion, we open it.
Thank you. You second?
I second that. Yes, thank you.
In favor? Okay. So,
Susan Charles.
Yes.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Roberts' speaker is not on, we
Oh.
can't hear her
It's
at
turned
all.
on, but I must just have.
There's a volume button on it, Leslie.
thank you.
Yep.
There she is.
Last two right down here. Thanks.
Did you want to read the, like you did the last time?
Hmm?
Did you want to read that again?
I just did.
Oh, did I miss that?
Yes.
No, I meant like what we read last time.
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
I'm sorry.
So we have the two things I believe that we have not decided on are the railing, which is presently a pipe railing. And I see Bill has,
I'll bring it up to show it to you. This is a PVC coated composite railing, aluminum balusters. It is all white, they just screw it different colors so you can see. It's not shiny like vinyl. If you look inside, you can see the thickness of it. You put a 4x4 treated inside, mount that. This is a very good, very expensive system. So this is the one we'd like to use. Any questions?
for the steps outside.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the uprights are metal. I'm reaching for it, I realize. But I think that because they are metal, we have to,
Yeah, I have no questions.
That's the same material used on Anderson Windows restoration.
yeah.
So just to give you an idea how good that product is.
Do we have a motion to approve that Trex?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Trex exterior railing.
Just as a matter of interest,
Yeah, I need a second first. Yeah.
Ben?
I'm not gonna second
Okay, I'll second it. Well, I
it.
just
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did they look into the alternative for that?
I don't know, that's
Did you look
it.
into the alternative of that?
What alternatives are you talking about?
A wood alternative? Something
Oh,
more that
yeah.
would,
No, and
or the metal alternative?
So, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Leslie.
Leslie asked me to bring a composite railing system that day. There was never a mention of wood. Well, we talked about wood and we didn't want to go with wood because of the upkeep and the maintenance of it. Metal is what's there now, and you can see what that looks like. I thought this was a good compromise to what you folks wanted.
so just so that I can visualize this, this would go along the platform,
It would go between
And
the
then-
columns, between the two columns,
okay, and then down
yes,
as a railing, so it would sort of go like that?
right. And they have a system for that.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor? Opposed?
Can I ask why?
It's not historically appropriate.
What-
And as an abutter, I am the one across the street.
Right.
And I look at it every day. And
So,
to me, I would prefer more historically appropriate. And to me, as an abutter, not as a part of this
So you'd
committee,
rather look at that black metal that's there now than something that looks nice like that?
I would rather something appropriate. I don't believe that Trex and vinyl are historically appropriate, regardless of what the rest of it looks like.
Okay, so can you show me somewhere where it says vinyl is not appropriate? I've read every
No.
ordinance, I've read the Department of Interior's
Historically
ordinance, and it
appropriate.
does not
Excuse
say
me.
vinyl. It's not in there, period.
Bill-
This is your opinion.
No, this is not my opinion.
Oh, show me where it says it then.
Right now, everybody chills, and I mean it.
Okay.
He has the floor.
So my question is, and I don't want to get into an argument match, but I called other historical societies around the area, and they do approve vinyl. In Bath, Topsom, and Brunswick, they don't even require a permit to change any kind of window you want unless you change the profile of the window, being a 6/6 or 2/2. So I'm asking you to ask me, show me where it says that vinyl is not an appropriate, suitable material, because I cannot find it in the Department of Interior's literature, in your literature. So, I mean, that's a valid argument. You're the one that's saying this, but there's no proof of it anywhere.
Okay.
Yep.
According to the ordinance, and I've said this repeatedly,
Yeah.
This is 10.7.
point 1.1,
E.
that the removal or alteration of any historic material or distinct architectural feature shall be avoided when reasonably possible. All building structures and sites shall be recognized as products of their own time. Deteriorated architectural features shall be repaired rather than replaced whenever possible. In the event replacement is necessary, the new material shall match the material being replaced in design, texture, and visual qualities.
Okay. So in 1785, they had a metal railing in front of that building?
In 1785, that platform was not there.
Okay, and my point is, you're saying that the time, the architecture of the time, there was no metal railing there in 1785. So it was changed once, the windows were changed once, and now you're telling me that we have to abide by something that was 1785. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that historically appropriate, and I'm following the ordinance as written. And historically appropriate are the materials that were appropriate of the time.
Thank you. Excuse me, I don't know your name in the red shirt.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Kevin Schoen, ma'am. Bill's talking. I want to get up when he's done talking.
Well, I'm recognizing you. And your name again, please?
My name is Kevin Schoen, S-C-H-O-N. I have a question for this lady here, ma'am. My question is that isn't it kind of strange that you're next to that property that you're talking about, so it's like a double standard? You're like on this board, and yet you're saying we can't do many changes because it's affecting you personally. So, I mean,
If I could remove myself and recuse
Isn't that a double
myself,
standard?
if I could recuse myself, I would, but at the time, that would mean that we would not have a quorum, and we would be at a stalemate.
Maybe then we should find somebody to replace you for this debate.
We have put out
Excuse me,
things.
you're out of order.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stepped down, I apologize, I'm out of order.
Listen,
Bill,
if I could, I respect the Masons and that lodge more than you can imagine. I love the work that you do. You guys are the best neighbors. And I can't say enough about that. I treat you as my friends and my neighbors. And you mean a lot to me. You really do. It's the ordinance.
Okay.
And it's a vote, 2 to 1. It was a vote.
Board of Appeals.
So, what are you telling us?
They
Because
voted-
you're
the
telling
vote,
They voted with 2 to 1, so,
the vote was 2
I
to
understand,
1,
what is our
but you may
recourse?
have that.
yeah.
Yes.
You can put
Oh, I
that
thought
up.
you had to have a three.
No,
Oh,
you
I'm
have to have a
sorry. I
majority
apologize.
of any vote.
I was told you had to be three.
okay on this.
There's only 3 of us. You guys are,
Okay, so I apologize, ladies. I was told something different.
no.
Well, don't believe everything you
Okay,
say.
I won't.
We'd have a tough time if it was always that. We all have to agree on everything, and that's not always the case. But you guys are the best neighbors.
Thank you.
And
We tried it.
you truly are. And I thank you for all the work that you do. I do.
Okay.
And moving right along, we have before us the issue of the windows. Your proposal is vinyl windows, and yes, there is, as yet, nothing in our ordinance that forbids vinyl windows. I am sorry that that wonderful old building will have such a thing rather than Anderson clad windows, but I understand also that there is a financial problem with doing that. And I'm just going to say that recently I got a call from somebody who wanted to know the procedure for replacing windows. I was told that this person did not want to replace them all at once, but little by little as she could afford it. Long story short, she's not going to, she's doing another thing. However, I just urge everybody in the future, it's an unfortunate thing called maintenance. You do it every year, and you do it a little bit at a time. That having been said, is there more discussion on the windows?
I just brought you some pictures, and if you want to see them, of what the windows do look like.
Yes, please, we would like to see.
So, this one, it's this one we couldn't fix, it's all rotted, it's actually rotted. This one, you can see here, it's all checked, you no fixing it. So I just give you an idea how bad they really are.
Yep, no, I know. They are indeed. Those windows have the old glass in them, don't they?
The upper ones, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Susan, may I say something?
Are these just the front ones?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Are these just the front windows? Because,
The one is on the side,
yeah, see, this one is on the south side.
Yeah, there's one, the upstairs one with the aluminum in it, that's on the, down the hill.
That's the backside, yep.
And the other ones, I'm not sure where they would take it from.
This is the front one, look at this one.
Yeah.
That's why the stairs.
Dave and I were talking earlier about the old windows, because we don't want to see them thrown in the dump. There's a fellow over in the back that restores old windows, we would love to have that glass. So we would be,
Yeah.
you know.
My next thing was going to be, I need his name for our records.
Yeah.
you know,
Because the only other one I knew
We'll
was
find it,
in
we'll find it.
Lisbon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Susan, I don't have his name, but my daughter knows it, and I'll get it
Yeah.
and make sure that you
Thank
have it
you.
for your record.
Thank you.
You can stick it under my
I was
door.
going to suggest another place that would take it.
Stick it under my door.
Um,
So you guys know of this window repair person in Bath?
Yes.
Is there any way that he could work on the front windows and you could replace the backs and sides?
Well, Pam, we don't really want to do that, because then we're back to where we were, with 9 windows that we still be losing heat through. Even if we fix them, they're still gonna be flopping around, it's like the old, you know how they are, you have in your house.
I use my stick to hold them up. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Further discussion.
For the front windows, are you guys open to the idea of are you proposing 2-over-2 configuration for all
Yes,
of the
we are.
replacement windows?
We're changing it, because
Yeah.
originally it was one of the ones we changed it, saying it was a $1,360 upcharge. But we figured that was the year the windows were,
Yeah.
and we want them to look like that, so.
And are you doing internal grids or are you doing external?
Well, the quoted right now is interior and exterior, one on the inside, one on the
Oh,
outside.
yes, that's nice.
They actually look better that way, instead of one in between the glass, so
Okay.
you could do it either way.
Right.
But we thought that the exterior ones look better.
They do. They look a lot better. Yeah, thank you.
Are you guys gonna have a problem getting that 1, 2-over-2? This is just, I'm curious. The one by the stairs.
Well, the windows that we're putting in, we don't remove the frames. They go in the existing frames, because those frames, if you live there, you see
They're gonna-
it,
yeah.
they're wrapped in aluminum already. That's what they did. So what we're gonna do is put replacement windows into those sacks will come out from the inside. These new units go right in. So it's a very nice system. Because then we don't lose the sills of the windows, because you still see the aluminum that's there now.
Yes, Steve.
I have a couple of samples out there. If I bring them in, that will help you understand, I think, for them as well. Do you mind if I step out and grab them while you're discussing?
No, it's okay, Steve.
Yeah, sure. Might as well bring them in for you.
Oh, well, you don't need it for me, but if you wanted to see them, if there's any question, you're good?
I'm good. Thank you for offering them. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the windows as described by the masons, as long as they have the exterior grids. That's the motion.
Second. All those in favor? And opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
And the result of that vote is that you may have your final windows.
I got it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And be quiet for this 1 minute too.
Yeah, please make sure, please don't throw those old windows away.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we have like a ton of resources that you can donate those windows to, and we will be happy.
And this will be another one.
Yeah, I wish that we could have like a storage place that people around Wiscasset could store their windows for other people to put back in, which would be great.
Susan, is there anybody local that will restore those? I'd rather keep them local than some other town.
I don't think that anybody that I know of specifically does it. If this person in Bath
Yeah,
is,
David's got a guy in Bath that, maybe they know what they're doing.
I think that is a long way to be a break. Who's local?
No, I'm just thinking of people in
Yeah.
town.
yeah,
I like it.
well, perhaps somebody will see this on YouTube and crop up and say, hey, we're in town and we do this for a living.
We need your help. Oh, you want to?
Okay,
Thank you, guys. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for your time, ladies.
Thank you.
You're,
And thank you for all the work that you do.
we'll free up some seating.
Oh, I know. Hey, guys, we got hours. I know that, exactly. Yeah, we'll see you around. Yeah, me too.
You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. See what we do here.
right. Okay. Next on the agenda is a COA request from Jib and Jerry Fowles for replacement of a fence on Village Street. May I have a motion to consider?
I will make a motion to consider the COA application for Jib and J Fowles.
Thank you. Second, all those in favor?
Opening the discussion. Opening the discussion.
Okay, you have a picture of it.
Hi, Mr. Fowles. How are you today? So serious.
Have at it, Jim.
Well, you see the document, and I don't think you want me to rehearse that, do you, or do you?
Not really.
Okay.
We know what you're looking for. The presence of vinyl fences nearby has little or nothing to do with us. In that it went in not with permission from us. The fences that are there did not come before the Historic Commission for approval.
I understand that, but it is part of the neighborhood and the configuration and this changing standards and so forth.
Right?
I do have one more picture that I'd like to give if I can approach. Number 6, to add to the 5 that are there already. There's another plastic fence right across the street from us.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that.
This fence is not an historic fence. I installed it myself 35 years ago when we bought the house. So there's nothing of any history involved here. It's a falling down fence, as you see. I would like to bring forward this other picture. Susan says that she's aware of it, but others might not be. I do want to, if we're all squared away in the document, and it's been read by you all, And then I'm going to move past the document then to my summary and give you 5 or 6 reasons why this should be approved. There is no list of approved or disapproved things, and you can't just make things up on the fly. That's not the rule of law. There is no place that says that vinyl is prescribed. Secondly, vinyl is the norm in my corner of the world, at the corner of Hooper Street and Federal Streets. There's vinyl on every fence. There are no, as the wooden fence go down, the vinyl comes up. Thirdly, vinyl is a superior product. It has become a superior product. It is typically cheaper, it lasts longer, it has less maintenance. I've installed over 300 running feet of fence, and I can tell you that vinyl is a superior product. You did approve Sherry Dunbar's fence, also on Federal Street. Our fence is not really visible from the street. It does not face any street. You have to stand in about 1 foot of space and look endwise and see the end of it. It does not face Hooper Street. It does not face Federal Street. It's a virtually invisible fence. It's only an eyesore to me and to my neighbor there. This is a way of beautifying this area where the fence is, and getting something in there that is going to last and is not going to heave. So new materials come along. None of you have wooden shingles on your roofs. I guarantee that you don't. You gave those up. We all gave them up. We switched to asphalt. And in the 21st century, we're switching to steel. New materials do come along that are superior, that have every advantage to the homeowner in terms of economy and appearance and maintenance. And this is one. A vinyl fence is a far superior product to a wooden fence at this point in time. Given the aesthetics of this, the fact that it's not really obvious from the street, the fact that it is an altogether superior product, the economics of it, the fact that this is a norm already in the neighborhood that I live in. There are no wooden fences going up. They're all vinyl fences that are going up. For these reasons, I think that the commission has to approve this.
Thank you. I will take issue with your second comment. I've spent a great deal of time investigating fences. Vinyl is not less expensive than wood. The prices at one place I went to, vinyl picket fencing, furnished and installed, starts at approximately $42 per linear foot. Cedar picket fencing, furnished and installed, starts at approximately $35 per linear foot.
That cedar fencing will be replacing in 7 years.
No, it shouldn't be.
It does.
If it is well maintained, if it is left for a year and then stained, everybody I've talked to said it will last 30 years, which is more than I'm gonna last. Eastern white cedar, which is not quite as good as the red cedar, I admit, is $31.23 for a 4x8 foot panel. Vinyl 4x8 foot white picket fence is $79.70. And vinyl that you put together yourself is even more expensive. It's $90.36. That's just some of the ones I found. So I am not going to consider expense because it just isn't there. I will consider that you don't want the bother of having to wait for a year and then stain it twice, but
That's not true, that's not the right way to look at this.
May I say
No,
something? I wanted to say one thing.
yes, Joy.
I think the real problem is the fence that's wooden that you built. Because I talked to a lot of the men that came to our home, the installers. They said that the good thing about vinyl, because they said that when the snow comes and the fence, I have a PJ there in front of the fence. When the snow comes and it heaves up and it goes this way, it doesn't really, the cement won't go up, but the way the vinyl is constructed, it must be on some kind of pole. It goes with the snow and moves up and down, so it won't fall over. That was more my concern, my plans. It's not the money.
Can I say that?
And, yes, Pam.
In regards to wood versus vinyl, we have advantages of wood fences. They are traditional and will always provide a classic look to landscape designs. They're also affordable to install and cost significantly less upfront than vinyl fences do. It gives you a wider selection of color choices, so you can paint or stain or any shade you choose. Cedar is the most common lumber used for wood fences. This means an organic or natural choice of fencing material and will likely appeal to anyone concerned about the environment. They also blend well with flowers and foliage for a natural look. And some disadvantages of vinyl fencing is the cost is the biggest disadvantage of vinyl fencing. They tend to cost more upfront than wood fences. Extreme temperatures can make the vinyl expand or bend, and high winds can cause the sections to twist since the length of vinyl fences aren't connected together as firmly or securely as the boards of wood fences. One huge downside to choosing is the repair. The process typically gets more complicated than just replacing a board or two as with wood, and you could easily find yourself replacing an entire section to pull off a proper fix. I also want to make one thing very clear, which is our ordinance. In 10.7.1.1E, you mentioned Sherry Dunbar. She was not replacing a fence, she was putting a fence up. So she does not come into play here. And E, deteriorated architectural features shall be repaired rather than replaced whenever possible. In the event replacement is necessary, the new material shall match the material being replaced in design, texture, and visual qualities. Repair or replacement of missing architectural features shall be based on accurate duplication of features substantiated by historic, physical, or pictorial evidence rather than on conjectural designs or availability of different architectural elements from other buildings or structures. That is our ordinance as written, and that is what we must abide by.
Architectural features is a key word. These are not architectural features. This is a fence. It's quite a different breed of thing. I'm just to come back to Susan's point for a second. We've got bids from a number of people. The wood is much more, for us, the bids we got, the wood was much more expensive than the vinyl. So you've got your numbers, and those aren't our estimates that we've got. We've been reaching out to fence people. We've had 4 different bids now in total, two wood and 2 vinyl, and the vinyl were cheaper and better with a longer guarantee.
Thank you, Steve.
If I may just add, if I could, just on fencing, I myself, when we were gonna do some stuff at the ancient cemetery, that's 506 lineal feet of fence. A vinyl fence was $28,000 with a 30-year warranty. A wooden fence for that same run went from $28,000 to $39,000 with a no warranty. And the other one was this Aztec stuff. Hang on to your hats, $73,000. But if you act right now, we'll take off the shipping, seriously, I'm not being funny, but with the town discount, that 73,000 would have made it $58,000.
See, in the vinyl fence that is the person who advertised on television and also did the fence for the St.
Yes.
That's in it.
Allentown. Hey, could I add one more thing, Susan? I've been looking at the historic ordinance procedure or ordinance. And in the section 10.2 of definitions, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when you come to the item called structure, and I'll read it real quick. Anything constructed or erected, the use of which requires a fixed location or in the ground or an attachment to something having a fixed location on the ground, including building, billboards, signs, commercial park rides and games, carports, porches, and other building features, but excluding sidewalks, fences, driveways, parking lots, and non-commercial swimming pools. I just find something, fence, the key word is fence, and I'm just saying, and I don't want to make a big deal of this, because I know this gentleman's he wants to present his case, and then one after him. I'm just curious what that means now that I've read it. It says but excludes, does that mean I don't know what it means.
It's just the definition of a structure. When the word structure is used, it does not mean a fence.
It doesn't mean that fences are excluded. Right.
I just was.
It's just, if you say structure,
Yeah.
you have to mean all of these things except fences, driveways, parking lots, and swimming pools. And sidewalks.
Okay, well, thank you.
Further discussion?
I would say, can I talk?
Yeah, sure, Joy.
That I've interviewed many, these people, the wooden men and the guys with the vinyl. And the key point really was the snow moving up and down with the vinyl fence, rather than putting the wood in a piece of cement that it still would fall over in another 10 years, or whatever. So,
Thank you.
I'm all for history, and my house is a testimony to history. 1805, it's a Stacy house. I've done everything to keep it that way. But in this one circumstance, with the plants and the Hooper Street aesthetic, I think I'm keeping the street nicer rather than making it look shabby. That's all I have to say.
Just a very final thing. Building materials evolve. We don't have wooden shingles on our roofs. The same principle applies here.
And what we're trying to do with the Historic Commission is to preserve the history in this town and to not have everything move forward in that way. We need to preserve the history that we have been appointed to do, and part of that is trying to maintain the structural and material items that uphold that history.
And I would say our house is a testimony to that. And Mr. Stacy came out of his grave tonight too.
I understand the argument for vinyl. We've heard it time and time again. I don't necessarily agree with this idea that if those materials were available decades ago that folks would choose to use them only in that. Wood is a locally sourced material, it's a greener material, it's easier to repair. So vinyl may feel like it's maintenance free, but when things go wrong, and they often do, there are plenty of vinyl fences downtown that don't look very good. You can't replace a picket or two, you have to throw an entire section in the landfill. So it's not a good green material to choose. If we're trying to become more aware of green options and trying to encourage folks to restore and reuse, repair, then I still think wood is the greenest choice.
I think that, unfortunately, a fence cannot be regarded as a deteriorated architectural feature because it is not connected to the house. It is unfortunate. We have nothing that says you cannot put up a vinyl fence, and I find the arguments not convincing, but at the same time, I find no plausible reason to refuse the vinyl fence.
We do have, in 10.7.1.1, it does say, following standards shall be followed to provide a consistent appearance for new or renovated buildings, structures, and yards in the Historic Preservation District, or to maintain the integrity of existing building structures or grounds. I think this falls under grounds, yards.
Unfortunately, provide a consistent appearance. And I hate it. I hate it. But I see no plausible reason to deny the request. I'm just sorry about it. I'm sorry about the plastic age we live in. I'm sorry for the lack of respect to our heritage and to our buildings.
Susan, you know me, and nobody could have a greater respect for our heritage than I do.
But that having been said, is there a further discussion on this?
And Jim, there was a lovely article down east of how he built a stone wall all around the house.
I know.
Gives it a beautiful look and testimony to history.
Why not continue the stone wall for the picket fence? Now there's a challenge for you.
It's not hard.
I love the fence that you built. I think it's beautiful. I'm sad that you can't somehow restore it because it looks beautiful. You did
Yeah,
a
it
great
really
job
does.
on it.
Well, if it didn't snow, it would be good.
It has been restored several times in its history. I've had 2 or 3 crews in there to get it back straight up and so forth. It lifts every time. For the vinyl fence, they put it in with a special thing so that things can slide a little bit and so you don't have that terrible lifting problem. But we've looked at a lot of fences, and as you know, the posts lift up and the concrete base lifts up too. Right now, they're all standing 12 inches above the concrete. Is up in the Pittsburgh. After doing that twice, it just doesn't pay.
New footings wouldn't, just redigging the footings wouldn't fix that problem, the lifting.
It's been done. I had Aero Pink in there to do that, to replace that twice, and at some cost. They just pop up again.
Well, they're still gonna have to dig footings for the new fence, and
Pardon?
they're still gonna have frost heave. Yeah, that's just the nature of Maine. They're still gonna have to dig some type of footings for the new fence,
Right.
and they're still gonna have frost heave.
Yes, but the vinyl fences are able to slide on the post. So we believe that there's a much higher chance of staying erect, and according to everything that we read and learned.
one of the things I would just ask is, you have a picture here of the vinyl replacement fence, which does not match the fence that's there. It's not a pointed top picket fence.
I thought it was an improvement, Susan, I could change it. It's
Oh.
skull. I thought it was more handsome than the one that I installed. All due respect to me.
I like your fence better.
Well, it's a.
Yeah, I like your fence better too.
Your fence is historically appropriate. That's the way that it's constructed. You did a fabulous job of constructing that fence. It looks great.
Thank you, it lasted 35 years. I'm happy for that. But
See?
everything has its natural life, and it can't go on. It's about to fall over. It's an eyesore.
I mean, that's what we want to avoid, eyesores.
Further discussion? May I have a motion?
Pam, why don't you make a motion? Go for it.
I make a motion that we don't go forward. So you can, I mean, that's just my motion.
Motion to deny. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion fails. I will entertain another motion.
I would like to make a motion.
Oh, it doesn't.
You can't.
I can't?
No.
Is there no way we can convince you to say that wooden fence or to replace your fence with wood?
No.
I don't come to you casually. We've been down this road quite a bit over the past 4 or 5 months, talking to everybody that we could talk to about this. This is the decision that we've arrived at after considering everything.
Would you
So,
like it if we made the pickets like Jim has it now?
No, it's not the pickets, it's really the material that's,
But we can't deny it, unfortunately.
okay.
There's nothing that says we can.
Okay, all right, well, I make a motion with reservation that we approve this application.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for your
I,
time and effort and energy into this.
Thank you.
The only other thing I would say is that in the picture, the vinyl fence looks ivory. I
It's
trust it's
white.
going to be white.
It's white.
Why?
I had to make a picture
Yeah,
of their sales brochure. That's where the color came out. But it is white.
the next thing on the agenda is a COA for a window replacement at Bowser's house, 24 Hill Street.
Oh, it'll always be Bowser's house, huh?
Sorry.
That's okay, I don't mind. At some point, someone had said it could be the Elliott House, and that brought us all the way down to finding out that it was built in 1796. Did anyone here know Bowser?
Yes.
He hit my
Oh,
house.
sure.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this up to Susan, but Ted Bowser shoveling snow in 1960 in front of that house.
I was forgot to put the brake on and his car hit my house.
Steve gave it to me. I have to thank him for that. He's already seen it. You didn't know about it, but I think you get along. Yeah, so you've been like this, I don't think you know about it. I mean, you may have taken out your back foundation at one point.
Oh,
So some people will appreciate that. My understanding, that's 1960.
Yeah, that's
And then one of the very interesting things is you can see he's shoveling snow,
yeah.
and there are no steps there. So that means Fort Hill Street was at least 14 inches lower.
I was level with the street.
Thank
I
you.
saw that photo. Yeah, so I thought you'd like that.
Thank you.
Ellsworth, we'll call him Ellsworth. So, I'm sorry I didn't have a printer, but I've been working off an iPhone. So I had photos made, and I put them in my great folder. And for anyone in the audience, just so you know what's been going on here at 24 Hill Street, the picture on top is what it looked like when I bought it in December of 2017, and that's what it looks like now. And I'm a massive proponent of modern materials that maintain architectural character, but that also last. And Susan, you were kind enough to send me some documents regarding windows,
Right.
old windows, all of which I'm familiar with. And let me tell you, if those were the original windows from that house, we wouldn't be here right now. I'd be showing you some in 2 years, just how proud I am that they were restored. You know, the windows that are there are about 1980, based on my experience. I've restored a lot of windows in my time, so I know what it would be up against. And these just aren't worth restoring. They're new growth, softwood, they're absolute junk. With aluminum tracks and balances, they're just crud. Single strength. There are no merits to them at all, other than at the moment, they're at about 50 to 60% capacity of keeping the elements out.
Okay. I will ask you, since you said you brought a sample, I'd like to
Yes.
see,
Yeah,
because
sure.
I'm not familiar with the Harvey.
Sure,
I know the Anderson.
Give me a
I know
moment,
the
and I'll go
Marvin.
grab them.
Thank you.
I didn't want to bring them in and then have a problem with the guys across the street when I was showing you I was going to do exterior applied grids, and have them angry at me.
Susan, do you have another copy of the application for the,
I've got copies of everything. Yes.
Keep in mind, he said that
you have one for the house?
replace with
You
this
have one
or
for the house
civils.
also?
An extra one?
I didn't put
An extra what? I have all my, of the last one.
I think I do, Jack.
Jackie, you can have mine, because I have mine on my laptop.
Here's one.
Do you have one? Look at you, she's so good.
Damn, I'll take it.
Oh.
Yes.
You just make
Hey, that's me. You know, it may be a moot point that I'm even showing you these, seeing as there is no
I'm gonna ask this for.
written ordinance denying blind windows, but I do like people to see what's going to be happening. These are grids between the lines. This is what they were proposing to do across the street. So, you know, you can't feel them.
No,
nice.
they're doing exterior grids.
It's
across the
nice.
street.
No, I did hear you say that, but
They said
No,
they're doing exterior grids.
the whole building?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I heard the front.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a classic. This one here is their more expensive line. Believe me, it is. You can tell. But I brought this because it shows the applied grids. All right, they're on the outside. I think if I take the screen out, it'll give you a better idea. It looks,
We're fine.
Yeah, I got it.
We're
I
fine.
understand.
yeah, there you
That's
go.
okay.
You wouldn't know it, but somewhere in my career, I wouldn't be bragging if I said I did 8 to 10,000 of these windows. And have restored a few hundred really old ones, ancient ones. So I know the merits of both. I'm just not in a position where I don't have, there's no merit to what I've got. Matter of fact, the windows that are in there, they're not even the original size. You know, if I tear out inside, I can see that they were slightly larger and slightly taller. That's not bad, huh, with those exterior grids?
Okay, so if we go through this, sorry. In the project description, you said that you're gonna replace with Harvey Industries or similar quality. So we really need to know if these are your final choice or, because you also say exterior color, either white or black.
It's gonna be white. I looked at the black, they're horrendous. They haven't, not that it matters, because I understand I can paint my house any color I want, so that's not even within your purview. I think, maybe I'm wrong at this point.
No.
Okay, all right, but I did, FYI, I looked at their black, and I was just devastated, I was so sad. Now, these are Harvey Industries. I wouldn't be going to get Home Depot or Lowe's Junkos.
But, well, I'm just
Trust
saying.
me.
Now, as you know, the 17 Fort Hill is removing their windows. Would you have any consideration to replace your windows with their windows?
From the lodge?
Hmm?
No, because my windows are 24 inches wide, and theirs are probably 39s.
Way bigger.
Yeah. Have you looked into the reclaimed windows? Because you said you like the architectural styles of them and.
I have looked into it. I know all about wood windows, trust me. I've
But you said you-
restored hundreds of wood windows and put them back in folks' houses. I know the merits of the wood windows, but I know what I have sitting there. I also know my age, I know what degenerative diseases I have, I know what my budget is, and I'm here for these.
But you also have wood windows in there. You have, those are wood.
But they're junk. They were put in maybe 1980, they are junk. These aren't even, nobody wants these. You wouldn't bring them to someone and say you want them for future use. They're total junk. They're soft, fast growth, nasty wood. So I'm not even at the point of considering going
Windows?
through trying to source windows that would fit these openings and going wood and then having to get storm windows, which I despise storm traps, or having to paint them every 7 years. And I'm not gonna paint them every 7 years because that's gonna put me at age 70 and I'm not doing it at 70. Can't.
A child in our midst.
Maintenance is part of owning a house.
Well, it is. If you want to spend the money up front on something, it isn't. So,
Okay, then, at this point, we do come under this deteriorated architectural features shall be repaired rather than replaced. In the event replacement is necessary, the new material shall match the material being replaced.
you better call the lodge and tell them they can't do their vinyl windows then, because it's the same situation.
We're talking about yours right now.
Exactly, but you just set a precedent for the exact same material.
They showed us pictures of those windows and they were so badly deteriorated, there was no way they said.
Look at
they
the
were
pictures I submitted, Leslie. Look at that crud.
I mean, I looked at your windows, Steve, they don't look as bad as you're saying that they look. I don't.
They need what, they need a paint job and they need some storm windows.
That's your opinion. You haven't gone in and pushed them up and down or had to put the temporary screens in and out.
Well, I mean, you see my windows. I'm right down the street.
Not
They are
up close,
in really
I
bad
don't.
shape too, but I've restored all of them and I use a storm. I mean, of course, my argument is always going to be the greenest choice is what you've got already in place and you put a storm on. There are a million studies that show you're going to save the same amount of heat.
Oh, I don't disagree at all. I completely agree with putting storm windows on a wood sash. That's got some redeeming values. These window sash are junk. These are the kind of window sash I used to put in a house that was a rental in Yarmouth on the Cape, where they wanted to get away as cheap as possible. in a rental unit. I'm telling you, I know these windows, they are not working.
Did you at all consider the Andersons?
Anderson makes an insert like this. I did them once and I did not like it. I'm not doing new construction because I've completely renovated the exterior of that house and done all new trim siding. So new construction would be impossible at this point. And you like Anderson, why? Because they're, you like their aluminum clad?
Wood,
I like Anderson, why? Because they're wood with a very small cladding.
The
It's not,
exterior is wood?
yeah, it's just a little bit of cladding around.
Which series is it, do you know?
I
200,
don't
400?
remember, I've seen something like 800 tons of windows.
Yeah, exactly.
we can search a lot of those. We can search a lot.
Well, that would
Anderson's
depend,
one.
you know, that would depend on cost too. But this one that's got the black and, the wood interior, I brought only to show the exterior grids because they didn't show it on this one. This would have exterior grids. It was 158 for the base plus 80, 89. So it's 160 plus 2, so it's about $360 more per unit if I got the aluminum clad with the wood interior. And I don't want wood interior. Well, in some rooms I might. So times 30 windows.
Your aluminum clad are only gonna last the next 15 to 20 years.
Wait,
Wood
wait.
windows are gonna last 30 plus years. I'm on the quality check home inspection site when they have the length of time that things will last. Whereas your wood windows will last 30 plus. Your double panes 8 to 20. Your aluminum clad 15 to 20.
Which isn't going to sway me. I'm here because I want to do this window and not wood. And the ones that are there are not restorable. They are junk.
I don't think I have any more questions.
Nor have I.
It would be great if you, I know it's, you made up your minds. We know how we feel about wood. We know how we feel about restoring rather than replacing.
We would actually, I mean, you say no salvage materials are applicable.
I'll give you those windows if you want. You can
What
make
I'm-
cold,
what I'm saying
you can
is-
make cold frames
Can
out
I
of them.
finish my sentence,
maybe.
please? You say that no salvage materials are applicable. We would appreciate if you would salvage them, meaning that there are those people who are desperate for windows, and they will put in what they need at a lower cost if they can get them. And we have a list of places that are salvage resale companies in Maine that would love to take them, because there are many homes in Maine that would be very willing to put them in.
I won't disagree with you. If I can get something to a salvage center, I always do. I'm incredibly anal about recycling and reusing. These are a really oddball size. The odds of them fitting somewhere are pretty slim. Instead of making cold frames out of them, I will look for a source that may want them.
You'd be surprised what people can do with gold windows. Not just for windows anymore.
There is a place in Lisbon. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Building Exchange?
Yeah, I've been there. It's a horror show lately.
Actually, they just reorganized, and they have a nice paint and sand and materials in the back left area. And they'll help you find whatever you need to find anywhere everything is.
Bring a flashlight.
That's okay.
I've been there, I know.
I was just there, I just picked up some staining material. Saved myself a bundle.
Picked up some more?
I sealed my deck, so what would have cost me $70 only cost me 16.
Good
So,
deal.
yes.
That
So
works.
they may seem disorganized, but they are well of help for lower income.
Can we
homes.
continue with mine, please? Thanks.
Gee,
Later
you were
chat-
taking
later-
this all over
later-
the place.
later
Do you want
chatter.
to chit chat with you, so. if you
Later
finish with
chatter.
us, please. Wow, I'd like to make a motion, we approve Steve's application for window replacement.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, thank you.
Great,
Off you go.
thank you. Can I make a couple of comments while I'm still here?
No, I think we're done.
Have-
I think you said you wanted us to be done.
No, I wanted to move on beyond your chit
We
chat.
still
No,
have.
we still have a lot of stuff to do, Joe,
Yes, we
so.
do. We have an agenda.
Did you, was it related
regarding
to the
our-
application? Because we have.
It's relevant to things I heard this evening and last week.
We had time for public comment at the beginning.
Yeah, but I didn't dare say the one thing before then, and what I heard going on this evening made me want to make a comment or two or three. But if you say no, that's okay.
That just.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You can come back next week for public comment.
I can't, I was supposed to leave last Friday, but the meeting got put off, and I'm leaving tomorrow. So I hung in here for y'all.
See, you grab that.
Yeah,
Open that screen.
I just took the door out. Yep.
You gotta put it.
Yeah, but I need it.
I've got one, Charlotte.
Okay. I don't need it now. Here, I'll get it. I'm staying for the meeting, so.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Thank you for everyone who stayed for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Is the meeting done?
No, we
No.
still have some things. We have interesting things to talk about
I
now.
want to hear something interesting.
Thank you for
I'm
staying.
here because I'm thinking of buying property. I just wanted to see what happens if you.
Where are you thinking? of
Wait,
buying?
were you the
I'm
one
not
buying
gonna say
on Hodge?
No, I'm not actually even gonna say that, I'll say where.
Oh, okay.
Just
Mom's different.
Because somebody had
Thank you
contacted
for
me about
being
that.
there.
Thank you.
And we actually, you know, if you, for people that are considering projects, they're always
Yes.
welcome to come before they have to do an application and talk about options.
Thank
We
you.
have lots of resources.
Yeah, we have
We've got-
tons of resources.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to, that's what I'm here for, thank you.
Yes, we're thrilled that you're being so proactive. Usually it's not, you know,
I can imagine.
fisticuffs.
Okay.
Okay.
Ordinance updates?
Ordinance updates we have none of, I'm assuming.
No,
Okay.
no, but I mean, I think this goes back to the discussion around how do we add a list of accepted materials?
Yes.
It's gotta be,
I'm still waiting to hear from the Department of Interior to see how they handle it. So
okay,
I keep calling.
okay.
May I just go knock on the door? I'm sure it's wood.
The clock tower grant, I gather, is,
I've been copying all these emails. I've tried I wish Steve had stayed because I needed to talk to Steve Christensen about.
That would have been, is he still out in the hall?
Anyway, the clock tower grant, we're not a fit for. The Belvedere grant, also not a fit because everybody looks at our setup and they see that the town owns the tower and a private owner owns the building the tower's attached to. And they say, we can't give you a grant because it's not a publicly owned building.
But it's a public.
but it's a publicly owned,
Tower
Structure, yeah.
attached to a building.
yeah.
I go back to, that clock is 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And in its giving to us, the town was the steward. And the town has been lax in this. And I think that the selectmen should put it on the next town warrant prepares for this. If the town can pull out $11,000 for overages, they can certainly fix the clock. They had $4,000 allocated for it a couple of years ago. They used $2,000 of that and they threw the money back in there, which should not have been done. They should have continued, at least paint it or something, stop the water.
We need someone to go in there and at least make it weather tight, because the water's coming in. The more water comes in, the more damage, the harder it's gonna be to repair.
I did, I emailed Kathy, who passed it on to John, that Joe Cahoon, who is the clock.
Yeah, I know, I've talked to
Yeah,
Joe.
that I asked her to please contact him because right now it's not even ringing. And that's a shame that we went all summer without that clock ringing.
Yeah.
So hopefully when Joe comes in, I can have a heads up and find out what's actually going on up there.
So I've talked to Joe. I've talked to a whole bunch of people that are willing to come in and give us an estimate for all the repairs that need to get done. But John doesn't want anybody to go up in there because it's unsanitary. Because it's
Unsanitary?
unsafe, because there's dead pigeons and
Oh geez, put
droppings
on a
and
mask.
stuff. But we need to get up in there.
Yeah,
And put some
avoiding it
lights.
is not gonna help the
Well,
situation. We need to
really?
get up there.
I mean, Jason went up there 2 years ago.
Yes, he did. Yeah, when she was still here. Yeah.
The problem is that
But somebody's gonna have to go up to see what the problem is.
we need to
Right.
get people up there to give us estimates, so we know how much it's gonna cost to fix that place. So we need to talk.
I mean,
Well, let's
thought
get
that-
on the selectmen's agenda.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We can do it under,
Public
New-
comment.
public comment.
Good.
Okay,
I've talked
Yeah,
about
I'll
the
do that.
on public comment.
Okay, let's do it under public comment,
all right. I'll do
because
it.
we're going to want to be on the agenda for our advisory board.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
is the next one?
Okay, wait a minute, Bruce. Who called me about this stuff?
September.
Okay,
The
update.
10th? Is that the next meeting, is the 10th?
No, today is the 10th.
No, today is the 10th, it's the
Sorry.
17th, 19th.
No, there's,
No, the 17th?
Today's the 10th,
Right, so they would meet
The
on the
next
17th.
Thursday.
17th.
would be the 19th. Today's the
Next
10th,
Thursday.
next Tuesday is the 17th,
17th.
next Wednesday is the 18th,
No,
next
Thursday,
Thursday is the 19th of
there's
September.
nothing on the calendar.
Thursday is the 17th.
Oh, I thought you meant us meeting.
No,
them
not
meeting.
us, no.
Sorry about that.
September,
I'm like,
I
how are we getting 2 days?
September.
thought you meant when did we?
No. Selectmen is the
Okay.
17th.
17th is the
Right.
meeting.
I think I'm back, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, update on Bicentennial Heritage Apple Orchard,
Oh,
anything?
yes. So, very exciting.
Yay!
Updates.
Look at you.
So Morris Farm definitely wants to host the apple orchard.
Get
They want to do it. I've been talking to one of the folks that are one of the members of the board, who's also going to be on our advisory commission committee. And I've spoken to John Bunker, who is the guy that everybody writes articles about him. He's been the one in Maine finding all the heritage varieties and
Yeah.
stuff. So he's going to send a list of recommended apple varieties to purchase. And what else? I just have to write a grant. I'm gonna write a grant for a small one, like a $500 grant.
For the trees?
Yeah, see if we can get that going. So anyway, yeah, I feel like we're making progress on that.
Somebody
I
called,
wonder if we could get donations for the trees. You know, call a bunch of nurseries.
It's so complicated.
Okay, go.
Everybody wants to.
Okay, good, I said it.
Now, I like the idea, it's just a lot of work. Maybe.
Hey, we
So
should
that's
send
that, that's the update on that. If anybody wants to volunteer to help with the apple orchard, I could use.
How many trees are we talking about?
19, I believe, but they're not giant. They're going to be, when you buy an apple tree, they're just,
Saplings.
And these are heritage trees.
Right, they're all going to be.
Probably not gonna find them in a lot of nurseries.
No,
That's
they'll
the
come
thing.
from Fedco. Yeah, so yeah, we have the place, we'll have a list of trees.
But you could definitely do a sponsor a tree.
We're going to get each town, we're going to try to talk each town in Lincoln County into donating or purchasing one of the trees. So every tree will come from a different town in Lincoln County. We'll have a little plaque about when the town was founded and the type of tree. And eventually it will be there for classes and pruning and cider making, and maybe they'll have some beekeeping. Anyway,
That's
synergy.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's good.
Somebody called me and asked me about something to do with bicentennial stars.
Yes, bicentennial stars. Who asked you about that?
I don't know, I said to call you.
They haven't called me, but that was another thought. If we could write a small grant for those, get some stars. You know the first main flag that had the tree and the blue star? Well, I want to try to talk some of the downtown, the business owners into flying those flags on the light post.
And you know that they're made in Portland.
Yes. And then if we could do some commemorative, I can't even say the word tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Commemorative?
Yes, thank you. Get
Show
some
off.
plaques, blue stars for houses that have, you know, beautiful restorations, awards to houses that have been restored beautifully.
Or over 200,
Or some,
or
or
whatever.
yeah.
Some
It's not,
distinction.
the idea hasn't been completely fleshed out.
Oh,
but
that sounds
it'd be nice,
cool.
wouldn't it?
So you get to display a little star?
Yeah.
It's a blue star home. Like the Blue Star Memorial Highway. I get it. Okay.
So,
Someone
would
might
you
take me a
like to
while to
work
get
on that
connected dots.
project with me? Would you like to work on that project?
That sounds like fun.
Good, you're on my list now. Okay,
I like
done.
that.
Times when I wonder about you two.
You know we're gonna end up just like you.
All right, so
But I
that
can't
is,
wait. Okay,
Okay.
that sounds great.
thank you.
Actually, it does sound. Advisory board update. We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
So excited
Um,
about
And a
this.
possible 5, I'm waiting to hear back on, and I'm checking, I did not hear back yet.
Okay, but what I would like to do is give this to John tomorrow
Yeah.
so that he can get us on the selectmen's
Yes.
agenda for whatever the next 2
Yeah.
days.
That sounds good, yeah.
So you'll get your guys' information.
Yeah, I sent him an email and
Well,
said,
if we have to put him on later, we can.
yep, yeah.
But let's get this
At least we
going.
got something, and we can
Yeah.
fill in later if we get more people.
Okay,
Sure.
let's, so,
Yeah.
we're ready to go.
You know who
So-
would be interesting? If I can find out, and I don't know what their qualifications are or whatever, but if I can get a hold of, David Sawyer's window guy in Bath, and
Yes.
he's somebody, then maybe not.
I'll tell you something, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
What is,
Okay.
what is the advisory board that is appointed rather than elected, which is our.
Yes.
Appointed.
Right.
According to our ordinance, the selectmen,
Oh, that's right, I remember you did,
yeah,
We
okay.
can have our advisors.
yeah.
Right, so our advisory board will be there, we can engage for especially challenging applications such as we've had, and we can get experts to weigh in, so.
We don't have a typical time like tonight.
Do you have some that you want the board to approve?
Yes, we
Yes.
have a list of people.
We have a list of people
Wow.
I
that
know,
we would like, I want a motion on this, to approve this list.
Oh, I approve the list. I motion we approve this list.
You better vote for it.
yes.
I make a motion that we approve this list and add others.
I second that motion, yes.
All those in favor?
Woo!
Something I'm happy.
We got a 3-0 vote finally.
Okay, so that I will send to John tomorrow.
That sounds great.
Okay, update on handouts. I gave you all my stuff that I've got.
I love your handouts.
And
And especially.
what I'm
your
planning to
favorite
do, I was going to have a folder for everybody who came in. I think what I'm gonna do is I have a rack at home that will accommodate file folders.
Mm-hmm.
And just have in the file folders all of the information that we get and put it in.
I like it.
Did you get those, I'll try and print them out, those 3 links that I had, which I spoke of tonight, which was the longevity and how things,
Send me the links.
the life expectancy chart, yeah, I emailed them, I think I emailed them too. It's a life expectancy chart, a wood versus vinyl fence, pros and cons, and then from the Technical Preservation Services from the National Park Services, Department of the Interior, it's aluminum and vinyl siding on historic buildings. So, and that's very interesting because it within that article, it really explains the deterioration that happens behind the vinyl
See,
siding.
that's what worries me about
Most
this
of all.
vinyl thing, because I have a friend in Portland who put the vinyl, that whoever built the house put the vinyl
Yeah.
over the wood. And she leaned against it. She just bought the place like 6 months ago.
And it just looks,
And it went sort of like this, and she thought, this isn't right. Carpenter ants. Having a lovely time inside.
yeah, that was the problem that I had when I took the vinyl siding. Actually, one of the things that one of our advisors had said to me when the vinyl siding came off of my house was, had my house been insulated, it wouldn't have been able to breathe.
Right.
So since it was able to breathe, I did not have, I retained about 90% of my original fabrics. It was because of all of what they did. They just let the house breathe. But there's a problem because they cut the things over my windows off so that they could fit them around the windows, the vinyl siding. So
Yeah.
it's in there where there's gaps, and when there's gaps, there's water, and water's the enemy of everything. So,
Except cleanliness.
except what? Silence?
Cleanliness.
So, yeah, it's 3 different articles. I'll send them to you again.
Thank you.
They
I'll print them up and put them in my.
Yeah, they're tremendous,
Thank you.
a really big help. And I think I have a couple more on Windows as well, because I'm a big
Good.
proponent of Windows, and please restore your Windows.
Yeah.
But I love these. These are great
Fortune
handouts.
to print all this stuff out on the personal printer.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. All right, well,
What will
we need to
don't
talk
we
about
still
the
have-
budget.
if-
I
yeah.
just do 10 at a time, and I don't think we're gonna use those up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, all right, yeah, but still,
I'm not doing a lot of hundreds, I'm just doing.
Yeah, but you printed everything, so I would say, pay yourself $20 out of the fund for ink,
Nah.
$34 for ink.
Okay, the advisory member roster with God.
Yep. Goals for this year?
Goals for this year.
Well, what was our deadline?
I think our goals for this year, one of the things we've got to do is get a materials list
Yeah.
somehow.
Checking again with the Department of Interior.
Yeah.
How, and how they handle that, because, it's just so important. It really is. And one of the things I'm running up against with that materials list, nobody has one. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
So I don't want it thrown in our face. You don't have a list, you don't have a list. The Department of Interior doesn't have a list.
what
But
does Castine do about that?
I don't have a list.
They have their beautiful design manual, which is
Yeah.
what I'm hoping we can do is simply use their design manual and have it revised. So, because I think it.
Okay.
Reflects us.
We need somebody like a consultant to help us revise their design manual.
Don't we have?
Do we have a copy of their design manual? Is it
Yeah.
online?
It's online. I don't have it with
Okay.
me, but I also have a copy of it.
Don't we have free access to legal advice somehow?
No.
To that.
We don't, just the selectmen do?
Selectmen do, we
Can
don't.
we ask the selectmen to toss us over to their free advisors and say this
Good
is
luck.
not us?
No.
I think we need to write a grant to hire a consultant to help us do that. So it's a grant we need to start shopping for. And I think one of the community grants might help us pay for
Either that, or can we just say to Castine, listen, We have no budget. You have a fantastic thing. Can we rewrite it to reflect this? Do you have an issue with that? Do you have a problem with that?
I'm not sure we probably even have to do that,
Ask them.
because we're
We're all on the same,
national, federal guidelines and all, we're taking
it is,
what's
yeah.
appropriate.
I put a call into the chair of the Castine Historic Commission and I just hadn't,
Her back.
no, it's been 2 weeks. And I tried the town
Well,
manager.
did you know that August is over?
I'll try again.
Email.
Yep.
Sometimes, I'd much rather email than, because it takes so long on the phone.
You?
That's true. You do the dreaded text. You do the dreaded text.
Okay,
No,
so.
no. If I start texting, I'm gonna have to cut my nails, and I've spent 78 years growing them.
So goals, materials list, design manual, some type of grant, like a grant that we can apply for a budget for mailings and PR.
That does not need a grant, that needs
No, we should just,
select, and we need to develop a budget.
yeah.
And we need
Let's
to
develop a
develop a
budget.
very tight budget.
Okay, so we'll work, when do we have to, when does that have to be into?
October, isn't that? Is it October?
No, it has to be, October would be good, yes.
Okay.
I really would like, and I guess what I'll do is send you what I've got.
October
For-
1st is the new ordinance, if we have anything. That was the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any new ordinance? I would like to look into whatever, what I just said tonight about, maybe we can not have anybody talking.
No,
Right.
What was that?
no, forget it.
Well,
Never
no, it's
mind.
just,
She didn't say
we've all
that.
been through the ordinance process, and we've all built, not the ordinance, we've all been through the COA process, and we know how daunting it is. And to stand up there and present your ideas and go through everything in your sketches and your pictures and everything, and then to be, interrupted is kind of rude in my
But
opinion.
the interruptions are always on the ordinance seekers, the COA seekers' side.
Yeah.
Never on our side.
No, so let's not have a Shut up.
Huh?
No.
Okay, so let's think about developing a budget.
Yes. And number one on that list is Jackie.
Have you, yeah, well, she can't always.
Oh, okay, but still.
Whenever we
You're
can
number
get
one
her,
on
we get
this.
her.
I'm sorry, did you say?
You're number one on our budget.
Yeah,
Oh,
but she's already got
She's.
so we've already got her.
Right, that's right.
But we just have to do it for next year too.
Right, yes.
I just had a thought and it's gone.
Okay, we were talking about shut up, and then we were talking about Jackie and ordinance, and we had the deadline of October 1st.
October 1st, right.
And,
Because at that point, we've got to get it to the ordinance review committee,
yeah, they just met too.
and we've got all of our old,
Ordinances?
all the corrections,
Right.
which we all want to go over. And so I'll collate all that and send it to you this week.
Okay, I think I have a copy of that. Does it have there are some line items that are crossed out? Was that from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might
Yeah.
have that, yeah.
I've gone through that also for ordinance review. And
Yeah.
taken out all the planner references.
Oh,
Right, but I'm not sure that we want necessarily to do that because we may get a planner, economic,
We can put
whatever.
asterisks.
And the other thing is that you wanted to take out a definition, which is a definition that we are using all the time. I forget what it is.
I know, but it wasn't mentioned in the ordinance.
But it will be.
Okay.
I don't want to take it out because we may need it in the future. I don't want to add back things.
Right.
Oh, right.
I don't want to have to think about it. It's doing no harm being there.
Well, it just is a point of history. I've gone through,
I know.
a lot of that ordinances, and
Yeah.
they have all these definitions that are never mentioned, and that's why we went through and checked.
Yeah. Well, as I say,
Well, we mentioned all of our definitions tonight, didn't we?
And I think some of our definitions maybe could be
Tweaked?
clarified a bit.
No, I think you did a really good job in clarifying that tonight, and I really commend you for that. That was a good catch. That was a really nice thing.
Well, I'm sort of getting used to that kind of catch.
I have another question. You have advisory board update number 9 and 12 advisory member roster.
Yep.
Okay. Have you talked about the roster yet?
Yes, we approved
Oh,
it.
you have it, okay.
Yeah, it's the same, 9 and 12 are the same, but I think,
Our advisory update was, do we have people? Yes.
Yes.
And then and then our member roster was approved, 3-0.
Who are those people? Really?
do you want to see the list?
Yeah.
It's very small type, but
It's like,
I don't know why I
it's like 0.6.
typed it out in such a teeny font.
And you
It's not like I'm
still have
saving paper or anything. It looked good when I was looking at my giant monitor.
Do you want these in the minutes? Or not?
No,
No, because we're gonna present them to the selectmen,
Yeah.
it's just that we've approved them and we'll present them.
and we have yet to do that. We don't want to give them a heads up.
Okay, I will get this to John electronically.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm gonna give this to you.
Okay,
Okay, so you're taking care of the roster and asking John to get it on the agenda as quickly as possible.
Right.
That may take a long time, because sometimes they're like a few months out.
no.
No, they should take 2 weeks to do that.
Okay, good.
And I'll send it to him tomorrow.
Thank
He
you.
knows that I want something pretty
Okay.
soon.
And as soon as they approve it, we'll put it right on the Wiscasset.org,
Right.
we'll put it on our landing page and the Facebook page.
Yeah. Put all those advisors there.
Okay, good.
These are our advisors. Pages, no
And
problem.
at some point, you're gonna show me how to get there.
You
Get
need a
it over to your
Facebook account.
house.
I have a Facebook,
You need to sign into your Facebook account.
but I don't know how to do that.
We'll come over to
You
your
need to
house.
reset the password.
We'll come over to your house, yes, and give you a little tutorial.
I think a bottle of water, I don't know where I'm like, some water
Did you
and
discuss number
lemons.
14?
We have not discussed 14, how do we
find
find
money
money
for
for
quarterly
Oh,
workshops.
Good luck.
We added to our budget.
I think this is something that could be part of a grant. I think the community grant might be where we can find money for quarterly
Yeah.
workshops. We really need to start setting some up. Have like the window restorer guy do a workshop, the storm window person do a workshop, that's all I've got. So-
Okay, then,
Windows and
if
windows.
we're going to do workshops,
Yeah,
then we want to be prepared to send a postcard to everybody in the historic district.
yeah, that's a great, or get the newspaper.
Saying, no,
Okay, no,
nope,
no newspaper,
Nope.
okay.
wait, newspaper, yes.
Okay, so if we do
But-
that, so we have the budget, okay, so we're gonna have line in budget line items are for workshops and then mailings for workshops.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be another budget line item.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And I'll have to find out what the exact amount was, because I can't remember.
And we will stick with that budget and not go over because we are good girls.
Right. The other thing is that, which has nothing to do with this, but I still have a stack of postcards.
Oh, good.
And so, have you,
New people who moved in, you mean?
Yeah.
New people who have moved in.
Realtors
you?
too, we should drop some off at the realtors.
Yes. real
yeah,
people.
I can do
I
that.
see a bunch of houses go up for sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but can you check what got sold in August?
Yeah, it's on the,
Yeah, I know it is, but
I don't know where those houses are. I'd have to cross-reference them somehow with the deeds.
okay, it's probably easier if I do it, because I know what it is.
I mean, you mean the houses? I mean,
Yeah.
the names from the houses that were
Yeah.
previously there? Okay.
Right.
It's all, and a lot of them are sometimes going from the owner to the trust of the owner.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that, which I want to find
Yeah.
out how to do somehow, because it seems a good thing to do. You
Yeah.
do it a lot.
Well, then I'll go back to the chasing deeds.
Because you think you missed in August?
We sent out the postcards to
Right.
everybody that we had through July
Okay,
31st. Okay?
okay.
So I want to, if anything's sold in August, I want to just write their name and address on a postcard and send it to them.
Yeah.
We've got
what are those
4
called?
that are already stamped.
Oh, good.
It's pretty, isn't it?
What are those called? What are those called?
And it's-
Property transfers.
It's just a lot of, it's just easier to do it month by month.
Yep.
Because I went through 3 years and nearly went nuts.
Property transfers for August. I'm just gonna cut in pieces and send it to you right now.
Okay,
I'm gonna take a screenshot.
lovely, thank you, that'll save me. I now have my
You won't have
account
to
with
I will
the
send it right now.
deeds, and also, this is a news story for you, if you haven't caught up with it.
Pardon me?
If you haven't already caught up with it.
What is it?
The Lincoln County Commissioners have, being right in the middle of our historic district, have planted trees, cedars, around that awful looking oil tank
Oh, yeah.
and the air conditioning unit. And they are going to be taking that little horrid shed, which is just sitting there, they're going to move it down to back of the sheriff's
Well done.
office. So, but it really looks nice. If you get a chance, Cheryl, take a picture.
I
It
will.
really looks nice.
Have they
And I've got a before picture if you need it.
have they moved the shed already?
No.
Oh, and on another note of such, of announcements like that, in your September-October issue of Maine Homes by Johnny's,
Oh,
our
yeah.
tiny house is featured, page 36.
Kudos to you, Pam, that's a big.
I think that is great.
I'm
Someone's
so
going to be
happy.
very pleased about
I know, I can't
that.
wait, you guys can come and see
Are we gonna
that.
put it on our Facebook page?
Oh, I can do that, I can share like the thing, yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that, in down homes.
I wonder if we could write a little summary about your house and have Susan, or see if both of the papers would put something better.
Come on over, you parked in front of my driveway to take pictures of the thing, so, come on over, next time. I'll make you coffee, tea,
Okay,
whatever.
I like that.
If it's
What
me,
number,
it'll be
what
Jim.
number is your?
I'm 16, I'm across from the Masonic Hall in that little tiny house.
Donald's old house.
I'll call you.
It says 1790 tiny house on the front.
Okay.
So that's my big thing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is
Really,
wonderful.
you get a lot of, everywhere around the country, people are gonna see your house.
Anybody who wants Maine Homes, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's on Instagram, it's on their Instagram page too, and
And
on
you
their
did
Facebook page too.
A beautiful job restoring and preserving that house and not putting a bunch of plastic stuff on it.
Ah.
So thank you.
There's no
Yeah.
plastic on or in my house anywhere. There's nothing. All my furniture is Craigslist, favorite marketplace, or Wiscasset antiques. It's, yeah. That's it, except for my mattress, I had to get that in a box to get it up the stairs. That's the only thing.
Oh, Lord, getting up those stairs.
Those stairs, yes, they're still from 1790. Hold on tightly like a tunnel as you go down, and feet on the side. Yes, I did move the door in the bathroom so that it opens the other way so that you don't have to step.
Oh, good.
So you don't just go down the stairs to go to the bathroom. So on that note,
Shall I make a motion that we adjourn?
I second that motion. All in favor? She says aye.
Right here.
And that's time.
Thank you.
Good meeting, ladies.
Thank
Now,
you.
you have,
How do I get a copy of the ordinances?
oh, they're online at Wiscasset.org, or you can go to our